Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Franklin. Today we'll be continuing our Excel teachings and we'll be looking at what we call pivot tables today. Alright, and what is pivot table? Pivot table is the analytical part of Microsoft Excel, alright, where we analyze data and of course generate insights, building a dashboard, an interactive dashboard that will tell a story about the data sets. Okay, this is the main thing we do as data analysts that we are. Okay, all right, so here we have the data set, and as you can see, it's a sales data. As you can see, the salesperson's column, the products, the region, customers, dates, unit price, number of items sold, and of course revenue. And then on this side of it, you have the business questions you are expected to answer. So it always comes like this. There are cases, however, where you would be exposed to the data set only without giving you the questions to answer. In that case, you will be the one to decide on what KPIs to generate and what visuals to also generate to answer questions. Now, if this is the case, you have to rely on your residual knowledge of the industry you're working on. For instance, if you have a finance data, some KPIs are very important when you're talking about a finance data. Alright, if you have sales data, some KPIs are very important. Things like number of items sold, total revenue, number of customers, and for the visuals, you may have things like revenue by customer, revenue by region, revenue by product, and a whole lot of other things. Revenue by year. Okay, so it depends on what you're actually working on, right? All right, now we have looked at the data, and of course, the first thing to do is to look at the data you have, understand the kind of data it is, right? Okay, so now we know that what we have is a sales data. We've also looked at the questions we are meant to answer, so we can start. And the first thing to do is to clean the data. Fortunately, this data is not very dirty. The only issue it has is the name column, where you have irregular spaces and of course irregular text case also. So that can easily be handled this way. You insert another column, you click on the column head, then you right click on insert, and then you have a new column already. So you can choose to write your trim function to remove the irregular space, and then write the proper function to give it the proper casing. You can also decide to do it together using what we call nested function. That's nesting the trim function and the proper function. So that's what we're going to do, as this will make things faster for us. So let's write the trim function. You open it and you write the proper function also. You open it, select the name, the first name, and then you close your function with two brackets closed, because you are working with two different functions, using them together in what we call the nested function. So now the irregular space has been removed. Likewise, the names has also been converted to the proper case. So you highlight, you copy, and then you go back and paste it in the name column. Remember to use paste as values. Now this is done. You can come back and then delete this very one. As you can see, we are good to go now. The next thing to do before you convert it to a pivot table is to partition your date column, right? You need to include month and year. to be able to use the date hierarchy factor by the time you start to analyze. So let's insert two new columns, one for year. Let's call the first one month. Okay, now let's have it here, month, and then this one is year. All right, for the month, you write the function text, then you open it, pick the date, put your comma. Now it's asking you what text format do you want. Of course, it's month, so you write M in 4 places in inverted commas, right? And you close the function and then enter. So it will partition this date into the months of the year from January to December. Then the year column, you use the function year function, right? You just pick the date, close the function, and then enter. Now this gives you the year in this format. You bring in your format cell dialog box using your Ctrl 1 shortcut, and then you go to general and then you click OK. The first one has been converted. You can now autofill. Alright, now our data is okay, it's clean, and it's well arranged. As you can see, the column heads are fine. There are no empty columns, no empty rows, no empty cells. These are some of the rules and regulations of pivot tables. There are 9 of them. You may have to read that up. Okay, so let's go ahead and convert this to a pivot table. Before then, we can check for duplicates and triplicates. So to do that, you go to your table design, right? Go to your tools group and then click on remove duplicates, and then you say OK. It's saying one duplicate value found and removed. Then you can say OK. Then to convert to a pivot table, or to summarize with a pivot table, you go back to the same table design, same tools group, and then you click on summarize with pivot table. Then you can click OK. Now we have a new worksheet called sheet 1. You can rename it to report sheet. Alright, now let's take a good look at the right hand side where we have the fields of pivot table. Of course, here you have all your columns, right? And then below these you have your filter, your column, your rows, and then the values. The filter is used to filter, just as the name sounds, used to analyze, to filter. Okay, then the column is used to put the variables in the column way, while rows is used to put it in the row way, while for values is used for summation. So if you click on any of these columns that requires a summation, it goes naturally to this segment, the value segment. Alright, so now that we've converted to pivot tables, let's go back and look at the questions we are meant to answer. Question 1 says, what is the total items sold? Alright, now let's go back. Total items sold, once you check on number of items, it gives you that automatically. As you can see, 7997. Now you can change the name by clicking on it and then going to this place, the name box, to change it to total items sold. Total items sold. And then you can click on the figure itself, make it readable, and then remove the decimal place by clicking here. Alright, So that's it. Now you can highlight, copy and paste, and then you answer the second question. Second question is, what is the total revenue across the 2 years? Let's go back and answer that. So you uncheck number of items sold, and then you check revenue. It gives you the answer immediately. You can also change the name. Instead of sum of revenue, you can write total revenue, right? For this, you can also make it readable, and then you add a currency. To add a currency, click on this drop down here and then search for the currency. Of course, from here you also select currency and then pick currency symbols here. Search for Naira. You can use Edo Naira, you can use Fulani, Hausa, Ibibio, or Igbo Naira. Okay, please also copy and paste again to answer the next question. What's the next question? Next question says, where is the company experiencing the most success by region? So what we're talking about here is revenue by region, right? So revenue is still checked already, so you now go and select region. So this gives you your revenue by region. Now if you notice, it's saying row totals or row labels. Meanwhile, it's meant to say region at this point. So you can change this by going to click on design, go to your loyal group, and then select report layout. Once you click on this drop down, you now select tabular form. It changes this immediately. So you now have region and then total revenue. Now you can also sort at this point by clicking on any of the figures. You right click and then select on sort. You can sort anyhow you want, from largest to smallest and vice versa. So let's start from largest to smallest. With this, you can already tell that Northwest region is the best region, followed by Southwest, and then Northwest, and also Southeast. Now there's a blank space. Okay, now to correct this error, let's go back to pivot table, and then let's insert our filter icon by pressing Ctrl Shift L. Now you go to region and then filter region, uncheck all, and then you check this blank space, click OK. Okay, we have 4 different places that are blank. Now let's share them among the 4 regions. Let's call one. Okay, what are the regions again? Let me check to be sure. Northeast, Southwest. Okay, let's just share them into 2, Southeast and Southwest. So let's say, let this be Southeast, let this be Southwest. Which other ones? Southeast, Southwest, Northeast and Northwest. Okay, so this is Northeast, and then this is Northwest. And let's go back and check all, and then OK. Okay, let's go back and see if the error has been corrected. Not yet corrected. Then you can, let's see, okay, trying to check something. Okay, to refresh, you go to data and then click on refresh all. So that has handled the correction. Then we can go back and continue. Now you select, copy, and then you paste. What's the next question? The next question says, Which product and region should the company continue to invest in? What we're talking about is revenue by product and revenue by region. We already have solved revenue by region, so we're going to be solving revenue by product now. Okay, so revenue is still in check. All we need to do is to uncheck region and then check product. This blank is still here, even in product. Okay, so let's go back and correct it. Where's our product? Okay, this is product. Uncheck and then check the blank. What are the products? Let's just use Viju milk and drinking water. Viju milk and drinking water. Viju milk. Viju milk. Drinking water and drinking water. Then let's refresh. Select all. Okay. Let's refresh. Okay. Alright, let's also copy again. Cut and copy and then you paste. What's the next question? The next question is, which customer is the best customer? Okay, so here we'll be talking about revenue by customer. Revenue is still checked, so uncheck product and then you check customer. Okay, let's go back again and correct this error with the customer column. Uncheck all, check only blank. Okay, what customer should we use now? Let's use Mr. Big, KFC and Spars. KFC and Spars. Let's just use KFC all through. KFC, and KFC. Alright. Okay, let's check all again and then let's refresh all. Okay, we are good to go. Alright, let's check if there's another question. I think that's all. And then give reasons why the company should continue to invest in that product. It's quite simple. Go to your reports, find out what the best product is. So let's sort revenue by product from largest to smallest, and of course that is drinking water. So drinking water is the best product, and the recommendation is that the company should invest more in drinking water. It's very simple. All right, so now that we've answered all the questions, we can also add more to it, right? You can add something to it. You can do something like revenue by before then. This data is a 2-year data, right? So we can have revenue. Let me show you. You can just do revenue by year, right? Now it will give you, hold on. Now this will give you revenue by year. Okay, what was made in each of the years that this business was done. Okay, Now, to make it appear better, to make it convey more information, you can now choose to add month and probably do quarter also. Now when you do month, it's actually okay doing only month, so that you'll be able to see what was made in each month, right? Okay, so now that we've done answered all the questions, there are lots of other things you can add. You can add things like revenue by salesperson, a lot of other things. Okay, but let's stop so far since we are still going to build our dashboard. That will take a little more time. So you insert a new spreadsheet and then call it dashboard, right? Now to start building your dashboard, the first thing to do is to write the name or the title. And to do this, you go to insert and then pick text box, right? You click and drag and then write the name. Alright, executive summary, sales data dashboard prepared by my name, and then you can format, have it in the center, bold. You change font style to Times New Roman. Font size could be 20 is fine, and then font color could be green. You could use green, and then background you can use this. I think this is good enough. Alright, so this is fair enough. Now let's start to bring in our KPIs and our visuals. Let's start with the KPIs. To bring in the KPIs, you would need to use a kind of shapes, right? So let's pick these shapes. Let's have it here. Okay. Then let's go and import our KPIs. Now we are going to do that by linking this sheet with the report sheet. To do that, you click on the formula bar and then type equal sign. Go back to the report sheet. Now we are trying to bring in our total items sold, and the figure is in cell A4. So just come here and type A4 and then press enter. It will import the figure here. You can bring it down and write total items sold. You can highlight, you can make it bold, you can still make the color green, and then increase font size to 15, right? And this is fair enough. Okay. Alright, for the background you can also change it to this so that you will be uniform. Okay, so let's insert or let's duplicate this one by pressing Ctrl D, since we have another KPI to bring in. So let's have it active and then click on the formula bar. Now let's go back to our report sheet and confirm where the value of total revenue is in cell C4. So let's go back to dashboard and then change this A4 to C4, then press enter. It picks the value immediately. Then let's highlight, change the Times New Romance, font size to 15, color to green, and then of course bold it. Alright, try to type the name. Not letting me click it. Just let's have it here. You can always change the name later. So let me just arrange it properly to make it look nice. Okay, I think this is fair enough. Now let's start beginning our visuals. Let's go back to our report sheet. Okay, let's convert this one to a chart, pivot chart. Okay, we can use this one. Just click on OK, and then our chart is created. You can cut it and then paste it in the dashboard, and then you start to format. In the formatting, okay, let's go back. Let's have it here. Let's format it here. Go to design, pardon me, pivot charts, choose as the case may be, and then you click on this cross sign here. Alright, you remove grid line, remove legend, and then you check data labels. Right now you have your data labels. You can remove this one here. Just click and delete. Then you can equally right click on this total revenue here, and then click on hide value field button on chart. Do same for this place, and your chart is bigger. Now for the title, it's meant to be revenue by what? By region, right? You can make the color green, and the background, you can also change the background, and you can now cut it and then paste it to the dashboard. You can align it properly, and then you resize it. You'll agree with me that this is looking good. Now let's bring in the next visual, which will be this revenue by product. You can equally use same. Okay, let's choose another one. Let's use this one. You say okay. You can also format. Remember to always remove grid line and legend, and then you add data label. I don't like where that label is, so let's use okay, you can see more options, or let's leave it there. Okay, let's see. You can actually leave it there. Let's see. Okay, I think call out is not bad. Call out is not bad at all. Then we can remove this comfortably. Right click, and then you can just click and delete. You can also remove this too, and then you can change the title from total to revenue by product, right? And then you can change the color, make it bold also, and the background is this color. And then you can cut and paste it to the dashboard, and then you can resize. And let's resize. And then let's align. I think it's okay here. Let's make it a bit bigger. Okay. Alright. Next visual. That's this very one. Okay. Now let's use a bar chart this time. Let me say okay. You can still format it here, and then data labels, right? And you can remove this. Remove this too. And finally, of course, remove this also. And then the name becomes revenue by customers. Good. Then you format this color a bold. Then for the background is this. And then we can cut and paste it here on the dashboard. And then you can resize also. Okay, the next one is this very one. Okay, that's revenue by year, and then we added month. Okay. So revenue by year. We can remove the month. Let's see. Or let's the month is actually important so that you'll be able to have a better picture. Okay, so let's visualize this. Let's take away the month. Let's just do year. So we can use a pie chart. Okay, pie chart. Or we can make it a okay, let's use this one. Okay, this is our pie chart. Okay, so okay. Then you format. Alright. I think we are good to go. So remove this. And then here will be revenue by year. Right? Bold, change font color, and then change the background color to this. You can cut it and then have it in the dashboard. then you can resize. Okay, so we've brought in all our visuals. If I'm not mistaken, let's check. We've brought in all of them. Just 4 of them, and then with with 2 KPIs. So this is actually good enough. And then let's insert the background. Let's have to insert the background. Let's pick this shape, draw it around the entire dashboard, right? Make sure you cover the entire dashboard, and then you right click and then click on send to back. And this is our dashboard. This has not ended it. You are meant to make a recommendation. It is from a recommendation that you will now have to explain what you just did, right? For instance, you can see that the North West region is the best region, right? In that case, you can recommend that the company needs to do more work to find out what happened in Northwest that made it the best, Northeast rather, the best region. Then you can replicate such in Northwest and then Southeast to also make their revenue go high, right? These are the kind of recommendations you are expected to make as a data analyst, because it's your recommendations that be used to make business decisions with a view to improve the revenue of this very organization that you have just analyzed their data. There's actually a lot more to discuss, but then time is fast spent. We can call it a day here. Thank you so much for watching. I believe this is very clear. Thank you once again.